Be blessed by the divine. Thank you very much for joining this horary class. This is the start of our advanced astrology class. So today we will learn about the basics of KP astrology or horary astrology in Krishnamurti Pattati system. I'm showing you a chart which gives you a basic idea of what a chart is. You have seen this in the foundation course really well, and I don't think you need any detailed explanation of what this chart about. But this is a horary chart, and I have taken a horary number 1, which falls in Aries at 0 degree, 0 degree minutes, and 0 degree seconds. At this location, it is, of course, falling in Aries in an Ashwini star. The sign lord is Mars. The star lord is Ketu. And the sub lord is Ketu. From horary number 1, we have up to horary number 249 are the 249 subdivisions that are there that we need to understand. Now, what is the significance of 249? It's very simple and logical. There are 27 star constellations. So of the 27 star constellations, there are 9 subdivisions. So these 9 subdivisions multiplied by 29 stars will give you 243 subdivisions. So each of the subdivisions, like the subdivision that I have shown you here, will be ruled by 3 unique combination of planets. Mars, Ketu, Ketu will not repeat anywhere in this 360-degree arc or in this natural 12 zodiacs, 27 stars constellation, and the sub constellations. So the Mars Ketu Ketu is always the first division in Ashwini in Aries. Now let us see the second subdivision. Let me go through one by one for you to understand this a little better. Now this is subdivision number 2, the horary number 2. It falls at 0, 46, 40, and at which location it is ruled by Mars, Ketu, and Venus. So the sublord has moved from Ketu to Venus from horary number 1 to horary number 2. Horary number 3, let me just show you the first few for you to understand this a little better, and then you can start appreciating this a lot better. So horary number 3 falls in Mars, sign lord, Ketu, star lord, but not Venus, but the next sublord, which is Sun. Horary number 4 will naturally be moving from Sun to the next sublord, which will be Moon. So it will be Mars, Ketu, Moon. So the next after Moon, we will have to see Mars, because Mars is the next planet that comes immediately after Moon. So Mars, Ketu, Mars is a combination for horary number 5. Horary number 6, the sublord will shift to Rahu, while the sign lord and Mars and the star lord remains the same. So Mars, Ketu, Rahu combination. So horary number 7 will be one change of Jupiter from Rahu. So instead of Rahu as the sublord, you get Jupiter, but the star lord and the sign lord remains the same. Horary number 8 will naturally be Saturn, because Saturn is immediately after Jupiter according to Vimshottari Dasa progression. So Saturn is the sublord of horary number 8. Horary number 9 will be sublord change to Mercury from Saturn. So the sign lord remains Mars, star lord is Ketu, sublord is Mercury. Now you see there are 9 subdivisions that have come for the Ashwini star. So you should expect horary number 10 to change the star lord from Ashwini to Bharani, which is what has happened. So horary number 10 will be ruled by Mars, Venus, and Venus. Horary number 12 similarly, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You can imagine how it will be. So let's go to 18 for us to understand. So 18th is the last subdivision in Bharani star, which will be ruled by Mars, sign lord. Star lord is still Venus because we are still talking about Bharani, but the sublord is Ketu, which is the last subdivision in a Venus star, always and always. In a Ketu star, the last subdivision will be Mercury. In a Venus star, the last subdivision will be Ketu. Now let's go to horary number 19, because now the 9 subdivisions of Ketu star is over, 9 subdivisions of Venus star is over. Now the third star, Kritika star, should start. And that's exactly what happens. This particular subdivision falls in Kritika star. That means the sign lord, the star lord changes. It becomes from Venus to Sun, because from Bharani it has moved to Kritika, and the sublord naturally is always the same as the star lord. The first sublord of any star lord is the same as the star lord. So Sun rules the first subdivision starting at 2640 in Kritika star. Now let's go a little slow. Let's move to number 20. We understood that after Sun, the next will be next Vimshottari Dasa combination progression planet of Moon. So Mars, Sun, Moon rules this particular horary number. So only the Lagna keeps moving. As you can see, for each number, the Lagna keeps moving. So let's go to 21. In 21, the Lagna has moved to 26, 28, 26, 40. And at this location, the point is ruled by Mars, Sun, not Moon, but Mars. The next subdivision in this is 22. Horary number 22 is falling at 29, 13, 19. Now I want you to watch this carefully, because at this location, the sign lord is Mars, star lord is Sun, sublord is Rahu. Now let us go to the next subdivision of number 23. You will find that in this subdivision, the Lagna has moved from Aries to Taurus. And the sign lord has changed, but the star lord and the sublord has not changed. I want you to observe this very carefully. One more time, I will show you for you to understand this a little better, so that it reinforces in your mind. I go to horary number 22. You will find that horary number 22 is ruled by the sign lord of Mars, star lord of Sun, and sublord of Rahu. So Mars, Sun, Rahu rules this particular horary point. But if I go to horary number 23, the star lord and the sublord remains the same. Star lord is still Kritika. Kritika star ruled by Sun. And sublord is still Rahu. But the sign lord. The sign has moved to Taurus, and hence the sign lord has moved from Mars to Venus. So the combination of Venus, Sun, Rahu, in that combination, sign lord Venus, star lord Sun, sub lord Rahu, will not repeat in this entire thing. So 27 stars multiplied by 9 subdivisions will give you 243. But in a sun star and also in a Jupiter star, I will show you that in a few minutes. In Jupiter star, in these two stars, there will be an additional sign lord subdivision. That is, only the sign lord will change. The sub lord will not change, star lord will not change. So 243 plus 6, 249 unique subdivisions of points exist for us to keep in our horary calculation. If you understand this subdivision and the logic of it, you have understood horary astrology. So let's now see what happens to the last point in Taurus, which is ruled by Mrigashira. Let's go over to, let us say, around, so there will be totally around 4 plus another 9, 13 points. So 36, let's go. Let's see what happens to this point. Now, at this 36 location, it is ruled by Rohini, and Rohini is ruled by, at this point, it is ruled by Venus, Moon, Venus. So let's go 2 more away, because after Venus, you will see Sun, and after Sun, you should see once again, it is changing to the next Lord, which is Venus, Mars, which is the star lord. The star lord has changed from Rohini to Mrigashira. Now, at this location, the star lord has changed, and therefore the sub lord has also changed. So it's a new star in Taurus. So let's now see what happens to the point at this location. Let's go to 41 and then go a little slow in there. At 41, it is ruled by sign lord Venus, star lord Mars, and sub lord is Saturn. Now let's see what happens to the next number, 42. I'm going deliberately a little slow for you to understand. Now if you see, the sign lord has changed, star lord has changed, the sublord also has changed. So we do not have to include one extra subdivisions for Mrigashira star. So Mars star and Ketu star will not have any further subdivisions addition. Only the sun star, that means Kritika, Uttara Palguni, and Uttara Ashada, and Jupiter star, which is Punarvasu, Vishaka, and Purvabhadrapada. These 3 stars, these 3 plus 3 stars, that is 3 sun stars and 3 Jupiter stars, will have further 6 total addition of subdivisions. And therefore, these subdivisions will have to be added to 243, and you will have 249 unique subdivision. I would like to stop here and ask you whether you have any doubts. Is this clear? If you have any doubts, feel free to unmute yourself and ask me. Great. So you have understood these 249, existence of 249 subdivisions. And these subdivisions are very unique in KP astrology. Since the subdivisions are so unique, each subdivision is ruled by a sign lord, one particular star lord, and one particular sublord. It is believed by Professor K.S. Krishnamurti, who believed in planets speaking on behalf of us to both the queryist and to the astrologer, that he decided to use the power of these cuspal subdivisions, to help the queryist ask a question and give a unique number to us as astrologers. We then have to sit down and draw out a chart. How do you draw out a chart? Let's take an example. Let us say that somebody comes and asks us, Sir, my husband is admitted in the hospital. Or let's take a simpler question. Let's say, Sir, I am applying for a job. Will I get a job? So let's ask a question. Will I get a job? Simple question being asked. Now we ask that lady, let's take the lady as an example. Amma, tell me, what is the horary random number that you get in your mind? It's important that you insist on taking a random number, not their favorite number. And they should not preferably use any tool such as a book or any kind of random card and things like that. There's no need for anything like that. Let them just close their eyes, meditate upon the question, will I get a job? Meditate for a few seconds. You will receive only one number in your mind. No other number will come for you in your mind. So choose that number and give me that unique number. The number must be between 1 and 249. It should not be 250. It should not be -10 and things like that. It should be a positive integer between 1 and 249. So let us say the lady gives us 108 as the number. Now, I am using a software in which I have both the old Ayanamsa and the new Ayanamsa. I must put the new Ayanamsa. And in the new Ayanamsa, I must choose the date and the time and the location in which I, as an astrologer, is sitting to predict. The student or the queryist, the client, may have asked you a question 5 days ago, 10 days ago, 2 hours ago, 10 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago, doesn't matter. What matters is, when are you sitting down to predict? At that time, you draw out a chart. So I'm saying here and now, that means at this location where I am sitting in is at 4 o'clock 0101 on the 3rd of January 2021 in the location of Bangalore Urban. What is the chart? Let me create the chart. And this is how the chart looks like. The Lagna at this point may be totally different. For instance, the Lagna right now is ascendant. Right now in Bangalore city is not, in this chart, it is Mercury is the attendant. That is, Virgo is the ascendant at this point of time at 3 degrees. That is because of the horary number. My software automatically moves the horary Lagna to where the horary number is given by the client. The client has given 108. But right now, if a child is born in the Bangalore city, then that child will have not Virgo as the Lagna, but it will have a Venus Lagna. The Venus Lagna is essentially Taurus. So right now, if you see any birth chart, let's take an example for you to understand. So let us say test, and let us say 3/01/2021 at the same time, 16/01/01 Bangalore Urban we will put, and we will take the new Ayanamsa and create a chart. You will see that the child is born in Taurus Lagna, but we are not interested in the birth chart. We are interested in the We are interested in what? We are interested in the horary chart. Let me see where that particular chart is. Where did I put that? Will I get a job? So this is the one. Now in this chart, since the horary number given to us is 108, the Lagna has automatically moved to the point where it is ruled by Mercury, Sun, and Saturn. So I hope this makes you clear the difference between a birth chart and a horary chart. I will pass. I want you to ask me if there are any doubts that you have. Is this clear to you?
Hi, good evening, sir. Bhaskar here, sir.
Yes, Bhaskar.
So in that case, time doesn't play any role, sir, here, because if we go by...
It does. 100% it does. The time plays a role in terms of the planetary positions. You understand?
Yes, sir, I'm getting, sir. So because you said the queries should have given in the, say, in the past, it might be an hour later or
5 days ago. See, yesterday moon was not in Ketu star. Today moon is in Ketu star. Yesterday it was in Ashlesha Nakshatra, which is a Mercury star. So the question would have been asked when moon was in Mercury star. But you are sitting to predict only when moon has moved into Ketu star. So the planets have moved.
Okay.
And that will have a significant difference in the predictions.
Even the Lagna also will change, sir, based on that?
Lagna will not change because Lagna is now in the horary. Lagna is not based on the time of the query or the time of you sitting down, but it is based on the number. So 108 is always this location for all charts. It will not change.
Understood, sir. This is what I want to understand.
Lagna position for that particular horary number will always be the same for all queryists. But the planetary position and the subdivisions of the subsequent bhavas, supposing the person is asking this query in Chennai, slight change will be there in the second bhava. If the person is asking this query sitting in, let's say the astrologer is sitting in New Delhi, then the second bhava position will not be 3.17. It will be something different. Let me show you that for you to understand. Let us say I edit this chart. Will I get a job? And instead of putting Bangalore, now watch carefully. I have put the second, third, fourth, fifth, and all. Let us take something like 1, 2, 3, fourth bhava. We will take fourth bhava is 3 degree, 13 degree minutes. And now, if you see the instead of putting Bangalore, I'll put New Delhi. Okay, just for you to understand, there will be slight difference. As you can see, the fourth bhava is not at 30313, it is at 252 because the Ainams has changed. The longitude, latitude has completely changed, and hence there is a slight difference. So sublord ruling point will change in the fourth bhava. So one needs to be careful. Okay, is this clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So since I'm sitting in Bangalore at this point of time, we will just take this. Okay, the question is about whether the person will get a job. So we are still in that chart. So, so the sixth house is what we need to study. This we have already studied in the foundation course. So can somebody tell me the rule of whether the person will get a job or no? What is the rule? We looked at the sixth house sublord, Venus. Anyone like to tell us what the rule is? When will you say the person gets a job?
The Lord, sublord, that is a cuspal sublord's star lord. So
yes.
So where is Venus?
Signify?
We need to check the Venus star.
No, what is the rule? You tell me the rule. You tell me the rule. We will check the chart later. You tell me the rule.
It should be the related. It should be connection. Should be related houses like two.
It should show 11th house, sir.
11, 10, and 2.
Very simple. No, sixth house sublord must signify 2, 6, 11. If these three houses are signified, then definitely a permanent, successful, happy, handsome, salary earning job will come for this person. Okay, clear. This already we have talked about in the foundation course. I have many case studies we have done on that. So, but never mind. Let's study now what is the sublord of the sixth house. Sixth house falls and 2 degree 43 degree minutes in Aquarius. The sublord is Venus. So Venus is sitting in Jyeshta star in the sign of Scorpio at 29 degree 24 degree minutes. Jyeshta star is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is sitting in the fourth bhava. So fourth bhava benefit will come significantly for this person. Fourth bhava is end of life, end of a chapter. So some chapter ending is coming for this person. So keep that in mind. But it does not signify 2, 6, 11 yet. So the Mercury is not sitting in 2 or 6 or 11. It is sitting in the fourth bhava. So one thing you can say is the person is going to work out of home, or person is going to find a job in the local city or local area, local neighborhood or something like that. Okay. So fourth house means one's own house and one's own neighborhood. Okay. But will that be a good job? Will it be a money earning job? Let us see. Now this person, Mercury, will have to get the benefit, will give the benefit of the houses that it owns. What are the houses that it owns? It owns Gemini, in which the 10th bhava is posited. And Mercury also owns Virgo, in which the first bhava is posited. So Mercury will give the benefit of 1, 10 also along with 4. Now you tell me logically, what do you think is the predictions for this person?
You won't get a new job immediately.
First house means what? So let's understand the logic. Fourth house means working out of home or looking into the same location, working within the same neighborhood, locality, etc. Okay, this is point number 1. Okay. Now
Sir,
point number 2 is 10th bhava. 10th bhava means what?
Sir, it would be good for him to go on a professional stuff.
Absolutely. 10th bhava is own consultancy or professional.
Because Lagna also has come and 10th also.
Yes. So Lagna has come. That means the person will have to succeed in the dint of one's own efforts. Will have to work alone. And profession, it has to be based on his or her profession. So 1 and 10 and 4, the person can work out of home or focus on a own professional consultancy, working alone independently within the same area or locality, or working from home. So the person will succeed, good name will come, and the old chapter, whatever chapter that the person has been having, is coming to an end. This is it. It is as simple as this. If you have understood this basics of horary astrology, it becomes extremely simple for you to understand the advanced course. In this advanced course, we are going to talk about a whole lot of interesting things. In fact, I must thank Venkat for suggesting that we not only have some interesting classes, which I have already scheduled quite a few classes for every week. Next week, we're going to discuss about Lagna Bhava, and then subsequently 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then aspects. What are the aspects that are beneficial aspects? What are the aspects that are malefic aspects? We're going to learn about how to study that. Birth time rectification we are going to discuss, and we are going to continue to have series of discussions on various topics going forward. And also, as Venkat rightly requested, and that's something that I really liked as an idea, is that within the next 3-4 months, you will be able to start offering consulting services. So when you start your professional consulting services, you bring case studies every week to this live session, and we will go through the case studies. We will try to correct your predictions, or we will try to analyze where the predictions would have gone wrong, or how the nuances of these predictions, and whether you can look at it more accurately, precisely, etc., etc. We will certainly look at it when we look at that. Also, we are going to have many more classes, especially about ruling planets and the correct, accurate time of prediction. This is something that we did not cover in detail in the foundation course, naturally, because it is an advanced topic. It takes intricate calculations for you to understand. We have touched upon how to identify time. If you have understood it, great. If you have not understood it, we are going to have detailed discussions on that, and that we are going to start from next week onwards. Also, I have put together, as I told you, a huge list of predictions. Let me just briefly show you on the screen as to what you will receive as inputs, as help. You can see I have it both in English and in Tamil. This is an Excel sheet. This is years of work of various people, and I have also added to this list significantly. I believe that I'm the only person in the world who is having a list like this. No other astrologer has this detailed list of predictions. So every bhava and the detailed level of predictions combinations that needs to be there, all of this will be shared with you. So you can professionally start a consulting session, a consulting services immediately. I've also provided whether that particular lodge, particular thing is required, not required, whether it is optional, even if it is not optional. And this is work in progress, and I'm going to keep on updating it. So every week as we discuss each bhava, next week, we are going to discuss Lagna Bhava. And then about 4 weeks later, we're going to discuss about the fourth Bhava. So when you go through fourth Bhava, you will receive all of these rules within that course. Okay, you will receive all of this. And I promise that I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to give you everything that I have learned, because I want you to learn everything that I have learned, and I want you to develop this further. My interest is to make sure that you can take up this knowledge and build on top of this and succeed. Everything, whatever that you wish to do in this, whatever that is related to the fourth bhava, I have put in my enormous amount of effort. This is phenomenal amount of effort that I have put in. As you can see, such a detailed list I have put together. I think I have over 1,500 units. Yes, I have around 1,612 1,611 predictions overall. So if you just look at the 12th bhava, 1,597 predictions for which the rules I have written down. I would like you to receive it. This is my gift to you, and I'm not going to charge anything other than what you are paying for me for this advanced course for you to take this copy. This is probably worth a lot of money, but that's not my interest. My interest is I want you to learn this. I want you to start predicting this, and I want you to develop further from where I have studied and I have documented stuff. And I want you to make sure that in your lifetime, you train up at least 10 people who will build this knowledge further from where you have developed, so that this knowledge doesn't die. It remains forever in this world. So any questions you have?
Sir, Bhaskar here. Sorry, again, asking a question. On this, this is only a prediction, or how about the solution, sir? Is any chance we're touching upon on the solution as well?
Krishnamurti Patati does not believe in any sort of remedies. So no gem corrections were suggested by Professor K.S. Krishnamurti. No Vastu corrections also provided. But of course, I intend to start a new course on Vastu Shastra. I have learned it from one of the leading Vastu experts in India. He also teaches it extremely expensive, but I want to offer something cheaper so that people can learn it, at least the basic foundation they can learn. And I will teach you my analysis and my research on the combination of Vastu Shastra and astrology a little later. It's going to take 3 months for me to announce that. So hopefully I should be able to get that ready by March, April timeframe. And when I announce it, I will certainly announce to you so that you can join us.
Sure, sir. Thanks. But as a part of KP, it is not, remedies won't work.
No remedies are recommended. See, look, I believe my logic is very simple. I will tell you why Professor Krishnamurti chose horary astrology to be more accurate than natal or birth astrology. Very simple. At the time of our birth, there is only one karma that is operational, sanchita karma. What we have inherited from our parents this is the only set of karmas that are imprints that are functional up to the age of 12. Of course, even though we are going through various life experiences, it becomes part of our prarabdha karma a little later. So if a child dies before the age of 12, it is purely because of the sanchita karma. So the child has not sinned, the child has not done any bad thing to deserve death before that. It is purely cleansing of the genetic center of the parents, and the birth of the child itself is therefore a gift given by God. It is a divine child. The moment the child dies, the soul of the child comes back and merges with the parents. It doesn't go anywhere, because that's the whole. It was born, it got cleansed, it pained, it went through certain suffering and pain, maybe an accident, and died, and the soul came back and merged with the parents. So the child and the parents are no more two separate entities in that particular situation. But after the age of 12, all the experiences of the child starts to have its results. And this is the prarabdha karma. Once the brain is fully developed and the child is able to maturely think, so from the age of 14, that physical maturity reaches one pinnacle where the child's mentality starts to develop. At that age, the akamiya karma develops. Child's ambitions, desires, futuristic goals, and visions and things like that develop in a child, and therefore akamya, means man, kam means desire, kam, man's desire based karma also develops in that particular person. So sanchita karma, which is the birth karma, inherited imprints; prarabdha karma, this birth's experience and results based on that; and akamya karma, futuristic ambition based resultant karma. All the three karmas put together give you certain queries in your mind, and your horary number reflects that particular karma, whereas the birth chart only shows you the sanchita karma. It does not show prarabdha karma and akame karma. Let us say in this example, I told you the child, lady comes and asks whether I will get a job. Let's assume that lady is 35 years old. Now she has already acquired significant amount of prarabdha karma and akamiya karma. It may not be totally different from sanchita karma, but it has the power to modify the sanchita karmic imprint. So you must believe in free will of the human. I believe in it. I believe that your destiny is in your hands. But this astrology gives you a pointer towards the destiny. For instance, one person came and asked me, sir, according to my interest, tell what should I focus on in the year 2021? So he said, tell me according to the birth time of the year in Bangalore city. So I created this. Also I will teach you in the advanced course, a very beautiful system to give you 1 year prediction. How do you give a 1 year prediction for a person? You can just look at it from the birth time of that person, but in this year. But in this case, that I'm example that I'm giving you, I took January 1 midnight as the time of prediction, and I sat down and I said, okay, I've taken that, but I moved. So let me show you that. Perhaps I should show you this for you to understand this visually, so that it becomes easy for you to follow what I'm saying. Okay. I hope you can see the chart. And let me take 2021. Okay. So here is 2021. 2021 was born midnight, and this was the chart. Okay. So this is not the chart. Sorry. This is moved to 11:36. So if you actually see the original chart, let's just take original chart 2021. Let's take 1/1/2021. midnight. So it's basically 0000 in Bangalore city, where I'm sitting to predict, let us say, and I take the new INAMSA and I create a chart. Okay, this is taking a little longer, I guess. Yeah, this is right. Actually, this is right. This is the correct chart as the previous chart. I thought I turned it around. I have not, but this is the correct chart. The Lagna was at on January 1st at 11 degree, 36 degree minutes, 39 degree seconds. But let us say that you were born in Virgo at 12 degrees, just for you to Libra at instead of Virgo at 11:36, you were born in Libra at around 12 degrees. So what I will need to do is I move the Lagna to 12 degrees. 12 degrees from where? From the natural zodiac, which is Aries. So Aries, Mars, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, then Leo, Virgo, Virgo. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 into 30, 180 plus 12. So 182 degrees I move. So when I move Lagna to 180, actually I should move to 192 because we talked about 12 degrees as your Lagna. So there you go. I have moved it to 12 degrees. So now this is as if the child is born now and you are predicting for 1 year. So you look at this whole thing and say, okay, I have you're born, Lagna sublord is Saturn. Saturn is conjunct with Jupiter in the star of Sun. Sun is in the 3rd house. So what do? You tell the person 1 is equal to 3. That means if you write, you will succeed. If you look for use of your brain and creativity, you will succeed. You look at where the person can earn money. You look at the 2nd house sublord. This is going to be this person's wealth. 2nd house sublord is Moon. Moon is in Pushya star. Star lord is Saturn. Saturn is also sitting in the 3rd house. Once again, strong 3rd house connection is coming. Where will he earn money? 6th house sublord is Rahu. And Rahu is sitting in Mrigashira, which is owned by Mars. Mars is sitting in Aries at 03, 12 degree, which is at 6th house. So there's a permanency of job, but the person will also have some kind of a connection with his wife because the 2nd and 7th house of spouse connection is seen or partnership connection is seen. So 2, 6, 11, 2, 6, 7 will also come. But just to make sure that it is not going to be misleading, study the 7th house. Mercury, 7th house sublord is Mercury. Mercury is in the star of Venus. Venus is sitting in the 2nd house. Venus also owns the 8th house. Venus owns the 1st house. So definitely there seems to be some kind of an income, not only for him, but also for his spouse coming in this particular year. So you can tell the person to work with your spouse and work to write a lot, work to do marketing, creativity. These are 3rd house connections. You will certainly earn money. Simple. This is how you come up with predictions based on the sublords and the transitionary movement. So I'm going to teach you this also. I'm going to teach you how to study planetary movements and give predictions and not really worry about the birth chart. Birth chart is, as I told you, it only shows 1/3 of your karma. The other 2/3 of the karma, which is your prarabdha karma and your akamya karma, are not shown in the birth chart, in the natal chart. So horary chart will give you absolutely correct direction for you to guide the customer, the client, or the native or the queryist, or guide yourself. If you would like to use this for yourself, you can certainly use this for you to achieve all the success and prosperities that you need in your life. Any other question? All right. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope to see you all regularly from next week for the advanced course. You can, of course, go over to the website and you can you can certainly, you'll know how to go into it, and you can log in, and you can see the advanced astrology course. Let me just walk you through, just in case if you would like to go through it. If you don't understand how to do it, let me just give you a quick demo of it. So here is the website. You can click on, you can go, you can look at the astrology basic course if you would like to join, or you can go down, skim down, you can see the foundation course and the astrology advanced course. So click this advanced astrology course, and it'll take you to a page where you can enroll. There are two choices of enrolling. One is you can enroll on a monthly subscription basis, which only costs you around 1,400 rupees or so per month. But you can also pay a one-time payment, that'll give you a lifetime subscription. So it's up to you, whichever way you want to choose, you can choose. But remember, if you are my student in foundation course, you can refer a student for my online course, and you will get 70% of the course income credited back to you. You can take it back as cash, or you can use that money to upgrade yourself to advanced course, or you can pay for your own course. So I would like you to earn money in this process as well. I'm really genuinely, I'm trying to tell you that I am here to help you learn. And I'm going to revive the quiz session, which we used to have on a regular basis for the foundation course. I'm going to revive that once again from next week onwards, so that I continue to hold hands for you, even if you just join only the foundation course, to have a solid foundation every week. Even if I'm not able to do an online live course, I will put the quiz, but I will have the video recording available for you inside the course, so that you can see all of those quizzes and find answers and correct yourself and become an accurate, stellar astrologer in your life and succeed. Good luck to you. Be blessed by the divine. May the Almighty Force and our Guru shower you all with good health, long life, enough wealth, peace, prosperity, fame, and wisdom. Be blessed by the divine. Sukhino Bhavantu. Thank you once again for joining.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the amount of wisdom and the knowledge that you're going to transfer. I think what we are paying is not fees; it's an investment, actually speaking. So I'm really happy that you have priced it at the right point, so that many people can benefit. And my only wish is more people join this course and benefit, because you're not doing it for the sake of earning money. You're well settled. It is mainly to give this knowledge to many more people. But of course, you cannot give it for free as well, because then people may disregard this also. So, but I'm really thankful that you're giving this opportunity, and we all would benefit, I believe. And as I have already requested, it would, if you could make us as a small part of Krish Murli Ishwar in terms of predicting, I mean, we become a miniature species of you. That would be wonderful, sir. We will be more happy when it comes to utilizing this knowledge also in a wider way. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, Venkat. I'm very happy to pass on every little knowledge that I have in me. Usually, people who have gained so much of knowledge like to hoard. They don't want to share their knowledge. But I don't wish to be like that. I don't know how long I'm going to live, but whatever number of years doesn't matter for me. What matters is I need to live in a rich way. So my heart is rich, and I would like to handhold any student who is willing to learn. I would like to be available, and I would like to give as much attention as I can to you all, in order that you can succeed in this beautiful spiritual journey. I'm telling you, I have learned meditation when I was in my third year of engineering college in 1984. Vedatri Maharishi Yogiraj initiated me into Kundalini Yoga. I became a professor in Kundalini Yoga in 1987. I was at that time 23 years old. I would have initiated Kundalini for maybe 10, 15,000 people in my life. Not much, but it's a fulfilling thing. Many of you may know me in that avatar. I have the world's most popular channel on Simplified Kundalini Yoga. I have about 116,000 followers for me in that channel. Again, I have for making any money. Till today, I have not taken 1 rupee money for myself from the system. I've donated every little money and much more than that to Swamiji's system. So, but I can tell you that after I became an astrologer and I learned Vastu Shastra, my spiritual journey has far more intensified. Today, I'm a lot more peaceful as a human being, prosperous in my heart, thanks to my knowledge of these Vedic systems. And I would like you to learn that. I would like you to succeed with this knowledge. And I'm sure with your intelligence and your hard work, you can succeed far better than me in a lot easier and shorter time frame. It took me 3.5 years to get to a stage where I can start predicting. And I hope you can reach there in just 3.5 months' time. And I will do whatever I can within my powers to help you achieve that. Thank you very much. Good luck. Be blessed by the divine.
Thank you, sir.